Previously on The Phantom Zone, Connor was too tie-tied to continue on going. Now, Arlen and the gang continue their quarantine special recommendations in The Phantom Zone. So I will pick from comics. I'm just going to do a real... And let's see, I put a lot in here. You know what? I love all of these, and these are all going to be on the notes, so look at all these books. But y'all, if you haven't read American Vampire yet,
yes,
aren't they doing
you
a
need to
new
read
one?
American Vampire.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's coming back.
I think we covered it.
No, Scott Snyder was talking about it recently somewhere.
Yeah, I think he's just been really wrapped up with a lot of Batman stuff. So
yeah, like and when it comes back, I'll be there because yeah.
Good. I love American Vampire.
But American Vampire, the first cycle, I don't know if they're going to re-release it with that title on it or not, but the first cycle, it's the reason I love Scott Snyder. Like, don't get me wrong, I adore some of his Batman work. I think his original villains are better than his legacy villains. But, you know, aside from that, it's a good run, and I think he did a good job, at least in that, you know, main line. But I think American Vampire is the reason that I will like hunt down his work like forever. Like I am definitely a Snyder stan because I love everything that he does to some degree, even if I do see the pattern that he repeats over and over again. His favorite thing is, there's a thing that you don't know about, and I'm going to change the world with that thing. But I think this is the best version of that, where it's all of his tendencies wrapped up into one book, and it just builds this great world, and it builds a great set of rules, which is something that I really love. And it sort of goes in between science and supernatural, and it blends those things very naturally in a way that makes a lot of sense. And the characters are so real and believable, despite being these fantastical personalities. The lead character, if I could say there's really a lead, but she is one of my favorite characters of all time, like, period. And the character of Skinner Sweet he's a fantastic antagonist who is sometimes a protagonist, and you love when he is the protagonist. You know, I've always compared him in my mind to the Walton Goggins character from Justified. They hold a very similar spot in my head. And if you haven't read it, I don't think you need to read it completely in order. Don't read the last volume and then read the rest of the book, rest of it. But if you're like, I don't know, look for the trade collected version of the Japan storyline. And it will be very obvious because there's a giant Japanese flag on the cover. And that's my personal favorite storyline, and it's so good. It's so good. Sadly, the lead character is not in that storyline as much, but it's still such a good standalone story. It's a good World War II story, and a good like horror action adventure story at the same time. And yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah.
I would like to add though that the side stories with what is the name of the agency that I can't remember the name. Like there's because the way the comics were set up, or at least the trades were, like you got main story of Skinner Sweet, and I feel bad I can't remember the main female protagonist's name.
I can't either.
Like their stories, and they're great, but then there would be interludes that at first you're like, oh, that was a cool little side story, but as you go, you realize, oh, they're also telling this bigger story about this group of secretive vampire hunters that are like government funded, and things dovetail later on in the book, and it's all done so well, and I feel like this is the comic that Snyder should be writing. Like his Batman stuff was good, but he needs to get back on this. Like Dark Knight's Metal and all that other stuff, whatever, that's fine. Get it out of your system just so you can get back to American Vampire, because it's a gem, and anyone who isn't reading it has missed out so far.
Yeah, and also, like, even when he goes away from the central characters, like when he does that woman who's also a vampire hunter.
Yes.
Her sort of spin-off stories, where it's not Raphael doing the art, it's different people. Like, his version of Dracula, it's one of my all-time favorite versions of Dracula.
That's a story I've been wanting to read. This is a series I have on digital, like, saved. I want to, and I will at some point.
Yeah, and again, like the way he builds this mythology, where I can't remember if it's in that Dracula story or if it's in the other one, like vampires predate humanity. Like that's like, and he weaves it so that like vampires can be an explanation for every paranormal thing. Like every piece of folklore can be explained by a vampire in the world that he's built, and it feels completely natural. Nothing about that feels forced or like, I don't know about that. And I am someone who would tend to be like, really? They're all vampires? All the monsters throughout all history are vampires? But like, I don't know, he makes it work so that I really enjoy it. And yeah, just like, and the titular American vampires are just also, they're all cool characters. The second person that he turns, he has a spin-off story where it's just him going to a town in the South that's run by these werewolf vampires, who are all racists. And I love it so much. It's got my favorite panel of all time, where they're like, what are you, some kind of super slur? And he's like, something like that. And then he just like destroys them all. And it's so good. Read American Vampire. If you haven't read American Vampire, just do it.
Yes,
you will not be sorry. Yeah.
All right, John, I guess it's your choice.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go with a podcast. This only has one episode out, but I really enjoyed it, and I'm kind of curious to see where that leads into. It is the Marvels podcast, which is based off the seminal 94 story that Alex Ross painted.
Okay.
This is produced by the same people who did the Wolverine podcast about a year or so ago, both seasons.
Which the bit I didn't get to listen to the whole series, but I really enjoyed everything I heard. Like I was kind of shocked at how good it was.
Yeah, so I would recommend that. So pretty much the Marvel podcasts are like audio dramas, but it was a good first episode. Like they got I think it's Method Man to play Ben Urich, which is weird casting, but it's surprisingly
that's a choice.
Okay, because I saw him in the list of like actors, and I was like, wait, who the fuck is Method Man playing? But all right, I'm curious to hear what his Ben Urich is.
I have not listened to the second.
It's actually like you can hear a little bit of Method Man in there, but it's actually pretty good so far. Like,
well, he does. He probably can do like a good New York accent.
Oh yeah,
and if it's like the Daredevil version of Ben Urich, that's not a bad pick, I guess.
They really do make it like immersive audio. Like they what was it?
It's like OG audio drama.
It is, and it's set in the 60s when, the Fantastic Four's battle with Galactus in New York City. They mentioned, Vietnam. I think Anna Sophia Robb's in this as well.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's really, really good so far, and I would highly, highly recommend listening because I'm enjoying it myself, even though it's one episode. I'm curious to see what will happen next. Let's put it that way.
Okay. Yeah, I'm really curious because I mean a big thing about the original Marvels comic was that it was all about Alex Ross's art. So I'm curious how it's going to translate them doing kind of a sequel via podcast.
I don't know if it's a sequel per se. I just more
I
of a
think
reimagining.
I think it's a reimagining.
Okay. Okay, so they're trying to contemporize it a little bit more. Okay.
A little bit, yeah. No, I think it's less focused on. I don't know if it's gonna be more focused on Phil Sheldon,
Mhm.
but they do mention, the whole like, oh, he's getting a book deal. He wants to write a book about the Marvels, he calls them.
Okay. Okay.
Hmm.
So be very curious to see that. And again, any of the Marvel audio drama, that and Wolverine, I would recommend highly. Like if you want something to binge and listen to.
Yeah, I haven't tried any of these. I think I've just been till there's enough of it that I can.
Yeah, the first one's pretty long, and it's really good until the last episode.
Okay. Yeah.
What you didn't like the big reveal in the last episode? What was going on?
Oh no, it just like runs to the end. Like it feels like it's like an epic. Like I actually was like, oh, did I skip one? And no,
Oh
I
yeah.
And like
Yeah, I get that. All right, Tall Boy, are you still with us?
I am still alive.
Okay.
He was watching. He was watching more dog videos.
I was looking at Beastar's art. Anyway,
slash fic.
So let's talk about Tetris 99.
Okay.
Okay. So do you like Tetris?
You like stacking blocks?
Yeah. Okay. How about if I told you that you're dropped on an island and there's 100 other people and they're also playing Tetris?
Huh.
You have to kill them with Tetris. How would you feel about that?
Yeah, it's Tetris Battle Royale.
Yeah, it's Tetris Battle Royale, and it fucking.
This sounds like the best Saw film ever made.
Yeah, it's Tetris Battle Royale. It's fucking awesome. I don't know how to describe the feeling I get playing this game, but it's a bloodlust.
Okay, this is the make or break for me. Do they have sick covers of the Tetris theme playing throughout?
There is a song, and there's a couple different versions of the song, and they're all good. The music in the game is great. I like it at least.
Yeah, that's a lot. That goes a long way.
I've played it, and it's fun, but holy shit, is it intimidating? Because
dude, there are some killers playing this game.
Yeah, like you start
I heard it
playing,
gets intense real fast, real quick.
You're like, oh, I'm doing pretty well here. I've beat 2 people. And then it's like, all right, I didn't do so well in that game. Oh God, this person is made out of Tetris blocks. How are they defeating me this easily?
I got the top 5 once.
Jesus Christ.
And it was a fight, dude. It was an uphill battle.
Yeah, it's because the thing is, like, the way the game screen is presented to you is you get your Tetris screen, your typical Tetris screen, but the whole time it's in an overlay, whatever in the background. You can see all the other Tetris games going on, and you can then pick and choose which one you want to jump over to.
Yeah.
But the problem is other people can then jump onto you and destroy you outright just because it makes them feel like big men.
You can pick who you want to screw over, essentially.
Yeah.
No.
And it is the most intense game I've ever played, and it's great.
And isn't it 100% free if you have the Nintendo Online service?
And that's only like $20 a year, so it's definitely worth picking up.
Yeah, it's good. I haven't played it a lot, but yeah, it's fun, and it makes you neurotic.
I need to charge my Switch.
Yes, you should. You should. It's good. It's great. I guess that would be me next.
I think so.
Yeah. All right. I am going to dip back into comics. This one is, mind you, I said earlier about problematic creators, but Astonishing X-Men, the Joss Whedon run, it is a perfect X-Men run. There is not a single bit of fat on it, and every bit of the story he's telling serves to further the larger story he's trying to tell in the end.
How much sexual harassment was in
there? Not really any that I remember, surprisingly.
Okay, good.
To be fair, I think he got as far as he did because he was able to hide that pretty successfully.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know. I haven't heard anything else ever since all those accusations came out, but the fact that he didn't really say a whole lot doesn't exactly say a whole lot of good things about his side of the story.
No.
Regardless, Astonishing X-Men had the return of one of my absolute favorite X-Men. And it whatever, you have to be kind of balls deep into X-Men lore to know about all of this, but Colossus comes back, and in such an amazing way, and Colossus is one of my absolute favorite X-Men that's ever existed. He's so good, he's so great in this run. You get a return to a whole bunch of Chris Claremont stuff. It's a logical progression from following up the Grant Morrison run of X-Men, where X-Men were a big worldwide thing, and Cyclops basically tells them, like, no, we need to go back to costumes. We need to show people that we're heroes. And there's just, it's so good. It's where the White Queen starts to become this great character, more so than the Morrison run. Like, just every little thing about it has always been a balm for me when I've read it. Like when I got robbed on my front porch years ago, like that was the omnibus I sat up in my library and read in a day, just because I needed to be away from everything and I needed to escape into something that was comforting and fun and good. And that's what this comic is to me. Like you can find it pretty much anywhere at this point.
I think I had a few single comments of this, and I remember coming off of New X-Men, I it was like, it really does kind of feel like the continuation. Like
it totally does,
because it's like it's a good way to bring it back to the superhero-ness of it, where it's like, we did all that, but now we should go back to what we were. Like it's a return to form, I think.
It totally is.
Yeah.
It totally is. Yeah, the second issue itself has one of the best covers I've ever seen for an X-Men comic, in my opinion. I'm gonna add it into the chat. But yeah, it's worth it. It's at a time when Joss Whedon could do no wrong, and this was him proving like he could handle X-Men, which are typically a very problematic series to try and run with, just because there's so much history and just because the way the X-Men have been structured over the years, which is kind of all over the place. So he came in, he chose his core 5 people, and he told great stories with them.
And now they be fucking.
Yeah, can I segue into my pick?
Yeah, go for it, man.
I feel like and thank you, Hunter. So my thing on there is Hoxpox, so House of X, Powers of X, or Powers of 10, which is oh my god, Hickman's like kind of re-envisioning of what mutantdom is, and started this past year, and it's continuing. It's basically like a soft reboot of the X-Men in the Marvel universe, the 616, and it's like kind of all this, like everything has happened, but it's kind of this retelling. There's like a big change for one character that kind of affects where this all is, but everything is still continuity. So it's a really great place for new readers to pick up. Like I hadn't read Marvel in like a contemporary Marvel book in almost a decade, and I was like, all right, I'll jump in on this, and it's so fucking good.
Yes.
And it's like, oh, this is the logical conclusion of where the X-Men will have to go.
Where mutants have to go.
Yes.
I love how the first big event for them is let's give them all swords.
Yes, this July, 10 of Swords. Everyone gets fucking swords, and it's already started.
That.
The first person,
everyone's fucking with swords.
Yes, the first person to get a sword in his first book is Cable, and he pulls it, and it's basically the Buster Sword from Final Fantasy VII.
Fuck yeah!
To go deeper, when he pulls it out, since he has like psychic abilities, he connects to it. And I'm pretty sure Hickman is tying in Rom Space Knight.
No way.
Yes. I'll find a picture of it, but like, they don't say by name, but like he like has a flashback to the previous owner. I'm like, okay, this looks like Rom.
Oh fuck,
that's cool. That's awesome.
Like, it's so good.
Arlen, what Hickman stuff have you read before? Because I know you've dabbled with his stuff. Like
none of his Big Two stuff. None of it.
Okay,
like,
just Black Monday Murders, and that was about it.
Well, actually, East of West, which is his.
Okay, yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah,
Manhattan Projects before it got
Imploded.
real weird. Yeah, and
yeah.
and it was like they stopped focusing on the actual Manhattan projects, and it was in space, and I was like, yeah, I'm good. The rest of this was really good, but I'm done here. And East of West, around when I just stopped reading comics in general, which we've talked about many times on here. That's around when I dropped out, but I will come back to East of West. East of West, yeah, that's a TV show just waiting to happen. I just hope someone can put the budget into it, because some of the most emotional moments I've ever had while reading a comic came from that book. I got to talk about it without doing an official recommendation.
I wasn't sure if you had read like Secret Warriors or anything like that from Marvel by him, because it like House of X, Powers of 10 is all of his biggest indulgences and done so well.
Yeah, he's talked about it on Twitter. He's like, he's done so many things with this book, with these books that they're just letting him do whatever he wants.
Right. And I'm sure if I picked any of this stuff up, I would probably love it, because I don't think there's a book of his that I've tried that I didn't at least enjoy, or have a good time with at first. So it's something
Part of what really helps with these books is he has pages of text kind of explaining the history, which is very helpful if you haven't been around. It's so it's actually laying out continuity.
That's the kind of thing that the books used to do. They used to have turn to this page and we'll give you a little explainer.
Oh, yeah, but this is 2 full pages of type stuff.
Secret Wars kind of had that.
I'm a fan of that.
He's always had that in his books. Secret Warriors, he would have something you'd get 30 pages in, and then it would have 2 pages of charts and text explaining
I love that shit.
Everything.
And that's
go ahead.
Yeah, I was just saying that he does that and that's where some of the fun stuff has been in those charts. The Summers house layout where there's doors that there's a doorway. Jean Grey has 2 doorways. One goes to Cyclops' room and one goes to Logan's room.
Yeah, the sex trap doors.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. It's I just finished the House of X Powers of 10 hardcover today, and holy shit, it's so good. It's so goddamn good. And even if you're not a huge fan of X-Men, it's still worth checking out, because I guarantee it'll make you a fan of them.
And I will point out right now, I have not dabbled in any Hickman, so
Whoa.
Yeah. If you're gonna, he hasn't done anything for DC that I remember.
No, his big stuff is all the Marvel stuff.
It's all Marvel.
Marvel or Image.
Which I know is difficult, because I know Hickman's really good, but I haven't. Again, I've only started getting back into comics last year.
Well, if you don't want to get drugged down into the continuity of it all, I would actually suggest Manhattan Projects. That's a good place to start.
Although it never finished. He never
finished it. But they're so good as standalone stories also. The overarching thing that he was doing was so interesting. But it's these weird little sci-fi stories with all kinds of side things. There's
alternate universe versions of Albert Einstein, and
it's like the Hellboy books, kind of, or the BPRD books, but if they were on acid.
Yes.
That makes sense to me, because I feel of right now there's 3 writers who I really like most of their stuff, which is Hickman, who's on Marvel, Snyder at DC, and then King, who kind of bounces back and forth.
Yeah.
Besides the one thing King did, and I think everything they're doing is pretty awesome. But this run is a great place to jump on for a comic, and they've done crazy ass stuff, and there's more new books coming. It's just it's a fun ride.
Yeah. And you can get the hardcover that collects all 12 issues for a decent price on In-Stock Trades, $35.
I'm gonna be honest. Now all I want is Jonathan Hickman to do a Robin book.
Oh shit!
I'm telling you, there's like
shit.
Yeah. Now, from what I remember, they have the rights to the universe, just not Rom,
not
the
the
character.
name.
Yeah. The character is, I forget where he's at
at
this point.
IDW right now, I think.
Okay.
Because there is another page. I'll screenshot another page that has more of these characters.
I do want to amend or addendum something I said before. The book God is Dead by John Hickman. Not good. Not a good book.
Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah.
It's
I give that to like every writer has like two, I feel like.
Yeah, and here's the thing. It's not that it's like a bad book, but compared to all the rest of his stuff, it's like it's sort of in that Millar vein of like what are you doing? What's wrong with you?
Having just read Mark Millar book, I don't know. That's really hard world to travel down.
Well, and here's the thing. Also, the concept is so cool that I kind of wanted more. And the idea is that all of the gods are real, but they all get this sort of like whisper that God with a capital G, the Christian God, is dead. So they come to Earth and they just start fucking shit up. So you get to see, you get to see the Norse gods getting like destroyed by the Egyptian gods and so on and so forth. But like it doesn't last very long, and it goes places that are not fun, much in a crossed way.
From what I know, he wasn't on the book all that long. Like I think he was in the first 6 issues, because all the other trades I've ever seen, he's not in any of the other ones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Lou, on the picture you posted in the chat, it blatantly says it's a space knight, but it's not Rom.
Yeah. So that comic came out, I think, a week ago. So I was just like, when I opened that up, I was like, oh shit, like this is going wait, Tens of Swords is gonna have to do with the Space Knights? This is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, Marvel can still use Dire Wraiths.
So they're totally here. So yeah,
that's interesting.
Yeah, and they're doing all sorts of crazy stuff. Like the Excalibur book, Betsy Braddock, who was Psylocke, is now also Captain Britain. And they went to Otherworld, and so they're dealing with all the King Arthur shit as X-Men. It's I guess a quick pitch of the book is basically the mutants all unite. Everyone is together. Apocalypse, Mr. Sinister, everything. Mm-hmm. And they create 3 drugs. One gives you 5 extra years of life. One can cure any malady of the mind, and one can cure pretty much any disease of the body. Yeah. And you're like, if you accept us as a nation, we'll give you these for free. And they just fucking destroy the world order.
Except for Wakanda. Because Wakanda
there's a bunch. Yeah, there's a bunch of countries that do not accept it, and it's a plot in the newer book, the sequel books.
Okay.
I heard something about doing a book with Doctor Doom
Yes, there is. The newest one is XFF, and it's basically about the Fantastic Four dealing with the fact because Franklin's a mutant.
Oh yeah, no, and Franklin roasts Reed Richards. I do remember that.
Yes, and so the second issue has Doom in it.
Pretty sick.
Nice.
They're doing, and that's the first book where other people in the universe are kind of adjusting to this.
Oh, Krakoa is a thing, huh?
Yeah, because Eric, your favorite character is involved in one of the countries who is not allowing the drug to enter.
Yep. Yeah,
and people to leave.
That was going to come up. Yeah.
So he's, I think he's been mostly in the X-Force book, and it's heavily implied in him and Domino been hooking up.
Hell yeah.
Among other people.
Fucking?
Oh, well, everybody be fucking.
Yeah, exactly.
They all be fucking.
Exactly.
Nightcrawler said everybody fuck.
Yeah. It's first rule of mutantdom. Oh, no, second rule. First rule, don't kill humans. Second rule, be fucking.
No, the first rule is create more mutants. The second one is,
So we got the priority straight.
Yeah, exactly.
Create more mutants, be fucking.
Yeah, he says that on a council that his mom is on.
All right, Arlen, I guess you want to get to, I think we should make it our last picks each.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I'll go something from my TV picks. I could go through most of these, partially because I do want to continue the bits that I've started with some of these. But I'll just say real quick, Doctor Who is like 11 seasons. So if you're thinking of like quantity, that's a big one there. And a lot of these are on here because they are 12 season just wrapped up. It's great, by the way. It's fantastic.
Aren't there like a couple seasons that just don't exist anymore because they taped over them?
That's another conversation. Yeah, they were burned.
Nice, great.
Yeah.
Like, because that's how they did it. They would just like burn them, or they would reuse the tapes. Because
some of this stuff only exists in like audio drama format.
I'm trying to remember
the audio tracks.
Isn't there a show that they taped over? Like a shit ton of it that's famous.
Well, a lot. I mean, a lot of them have, like anything. This is a rabbit hole. Anything from before the third Doctor, which is the first Doctor in color. Anything from before that, there's a 50% chance it doesn't exist. But you just can't even watch it, even if you wanted to. So it's just gone. It's because they would re-record and they would just play the tapes over and over again. Send them back and get new tapes for newer episodes or for other shows altogether. So some of the more celebrated episodes from those early years just don't exist. It's just based off of the people who are still alive that watched those when they aired. So yeah, it is kind of sad just on that level of like, this is a show that clearly had a much bigger cultural impact than anybody intended for it to have. And it kind of sucks that the earlier years, the early development of that show is sort of gone. But anyways, Doctor Who, the modern show, has a lot of episodes to watch. But I think the show that I really want to focus on is Fargo, which we've talked about before here. But new season's coming out.
Indefinitely postponed, actually, now.
Oh, yes, that's right. It is postponed. But it's coming soon,
Eventually.
Hope. At some point, I think they were still in production. That's my understanding.
They were also at the premiere. They were premiering in April.
Yeah. But you can still watch the first 3 seasons, which are all great at varying levels, depending on who you ask. But I love all 3 of them for different reasons. Billy Bob Thornton in the first season is one of the scariest television characters ever, I think. And he just delivers such a fantastic performance. That whole show is so well written. It captures the tone of the movie Fargo perfectly, while going off in some other directions that are a little bit sort of Twin Peaks-ish. And yeah, it's very well done. And then season 2 does something which should be impossible, in that it's a prequel that completely just works on its own, despite the fact that some of these characters are going to make it out alive, and there's no way that they couldn't. But it's so well written, and the characters are so well constructed, and it does the thing that the Marvel movies do, where like there are these little in references and little connections to things that you've seen previously that are so incredibly satisfying. And that continues into season 3, where there are things that connect back to season 2 and things that connect back to season 1. And then again, there's this sort of other mythology that's in the background that's very weird and very high strangeness. And it's fascinating. It's like, yeah, it's a show that I think about a lot. And I will probably rewatch the whole thing for what will be my 4th time all the way through. Maybe I think I've watched the first season more than any other. So, but I'll probably rewatch it again. It's a fantastic show. It's Noah Hawley from Legion. So if you watched all of Legion and you loved Legion and you haven't seen Fargo, watch Fargo, because it's good for similar reasons. His understanding of what story he is telling and what is the best way to tell that story is present throughout Fargo. He clearly has watched the movie many, many times, deconstructed it 100 times, and these are the things that make this movie good. how do I put that into a TV show, and how do I do it 3 times in a row? And again, depending on who you ask, do a very good job of replicating what makes that good while being extremely compelling television. So yeah, that's Fargo.
Yeah, I would even suggest that if you enjoyed the first season, definitely watch the second season, because I mean it's a direct follow-up / prequel to the first season. And I never finished the third season. It didn't catch me. I'm not saying it's not good. It never caught me. But now that everything from FX is available on Hulu, I'll probably check it out, because my wife and I were like, all right, well, watch this.
And how deep did you get into it, by the way? If you
we only got like 2 episodes in, and just it didn't click.
Okay.
Just because like we started watching the first season when we were using some pirate site, and we were like, oh my gosh, this is so good. So we tore through that, and then the second season popped up on there, and we liked the second season, I think, more than the first, actually.
Yeah.
And then we started watching the third, and we're just like, I don't know. And I guess we just didn't give enough time, because I know there are connections to the first 2 seasons in it. But I don't know, just something about it didn't click. But I can wholeheartedly recommend the first 2 seasons, because they are so much better than they have any right to be.
I really want to see you go back to the third season, because the third season has some of my favorite episodes. Is the second episode in LA? Is that
it's probably been like 2 years, maybe longer, since we did that. I don't know when the third season came out, so it's basically been that long since we tried it. So
it's I don't want to give anything away, but there's like some of the more creative episodes happen. There's an episode that's like half animation. Or maybe not half, but like a good chunk of it is animation. And it's really fascinating. And it's like old school sci-fi, like the story of the animation, but it still like connects thematically to what else is going on in the season. And like they just do so many fascinating things, and like they set up things in that first episode that play out in the later episodes. The new sort of enforcer character, the the unstoppable killer character from all the Coen brother movies, that character's comeuppance in the show it's one of my favorite moments in all of television.
Oh wow. Okay.
Like, and I won't say what it is, but like Ray Weiss is there. That's all I'll say. But and when it happens, it's bone chilling. Like it's just so good. It's really good. Season 3, it has its high points.
Now, would you say the animated parts are anime-esque? And does Ewan McGregor get down with the dog man? Is what I was trying to get to. Yes.
No.
Or is he a dog man?
But I can't remember what episodes you did. No, it isn't. No, it is not. Also, like the if you haven't seen the show, just look at the cast for each season. Like, it's some insanity in here. Mary Elizabeth Winstead is one of the leads of the third season. David
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So you're talking about the show. Have you finished Legion yet?
You son of a bitch. No, I haven't gotten to it. But now that it's on FX, I'm going to get to it. I just haven't. I
bring it up because it's the same people, isn't it?
It is the same people. Yes. I think that it was just the timing and the whole.
Yeah, I'm just busting your balls.
No, I'm going to watch it. Of course, I'm going to watch it. Also, and this has sort of kept me off for a little bit longer. I haven't heard resounding positivity about the end of the third season. I've heard sort of mixed results, so that
I like
it. Made me kind of not want to get on it immediately.
I don't agree with that. I really liked. I feel like it was the only way it could end.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the thing, Luke. That sentence makes me more interested to go back and finish it.
I feel like some of the most creative and I don't want to say daring, but out there episodes happen in the last couple episodes of the season.
Also, maybe the best Xavier we've gotten live action.
Yes.
Well, yeah, just from what I saw, that was true.
Yeah, like played by someone from Doctor Who.
Well, yeah. Well, that guy's he's been in a lot of British stuff.
Yeah, he's the guy that gets the gold dumped on his head back when Game of Thrones was good.
Yes. Wait, I think I'm looking at the cast for season 4, and I think I heard he might be in that, but no, he's not. But the cast for season 4 of Fargo, Chris Rock,
yes.
Timothy Oliphant, Jason Schwartzman, Ben Whishaw, who's the man that plays Paddington. And also that's the thing. Like I said, all the seasons are connected in one way or another. Some ways are very minor, some ways are much larger. And again, like it always pays off in an interesting way. When you learn X character is also X character, you're just extremely excited. In a very Marvel-y way. Like it gives me the same feeling that I get from the Marvel movies when we see young not Scott, Hank. When we see young Hank in Endgame, like that stuff, so good. Or not Hank. Who am I thinking of? I can't remember. The original Ant-Man. My brain is turning to mush as we go on. But yes, that's my pitch. Fargo. If you haven't seen it, honestly, watch any season. You could probably watch any season, and it doesn't necessarily matter in terms of the ordering of things. You'll probably have a good time.
Yeah, most likely.
Yeah. But if you're specifically going for season 4 when that comes out, and you're going to wait, season 2. Because there's been hints that it's the origin story for one of the characters from season 2.
Okay, so, I think I know exactly who we're talking about. So
yes. Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah, I think it's John's choice right now.
Yes. So I'm gonna end it with a game, not Doom Eternal, but I will say I can play that one. But the game I'm gonna play, I just beat this a couple days ago. A Hat in Time. If anyone's heard of this one.
Yeah. It sounds familiar.
Hunter, I've told you about it. What it is that it's basically a throwback to like old school PS1 N64 collectathon platformers.
Yeah, it's like a modern day rare 3D platformer.
Yes.
Okay.
It's really good.
It's also adorable. Like the whole visual aesthetic is just so dang cute.
It's also quite funny at times.
It is. And you're this like little alien girl who has all these like little hourglass things, and they like get scattered across the world, so you have to go back and collect them. Colorful characters you meet along the way. It's a fun, simple time to play. My only regret is that it's short, even with the DLC. I wish it was a little longer, but it was funded through Kickstarter, so at the same time, I get it.
I'm sure there'll eventually be a sequel too. It's one of those things that like a lot of people played, and like it's so good and well made, honestly.
It is very well made. Like it's just a lot of fun to play. That's like something to kind of bring off and just have a good time with.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard the title, but I didn't really know anything about it. So it's something.
I'm sorry, I can't follow up Arlen's impassioned speech
about Fargo. Fargo has been one of his white whales for a while, so I completely understand.
I'm really just trying to get Connor to watch
whale.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, no, go play A Hat in Time. It's like $30 on the Switch without the DLC, or the DLC comes with it actually.
Okay.
Interesting.
I mean, it's on PS4, Steam, Xbox, Switch, but I played it on the Switch and I really had a good time with it.
Nice.
Because it felt right. It felt right to play a platformer like that on a Nintendo console.
Yeah, it's one of those things that like I only have so much time in the day, in the evening to really play games. So I tend to get backlogged by all the bigger games that I'm interested in, or some of the more obscure RPG stuff that I get into. So
I have an absurd amount of backlog games I could maybe get through now. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. I'll have to see how much time I have based on what goes on with my work. I'm trying to decide what I wanted to suggest for my last thing, because I mean I had a few things I threw up here just as a that would be good, just because I just recently read them. But I'm kind of at a loss on what else to suggest right now because there's so many choices right now. So it check your streaming services and just watch something you've been meaning to watch. Like that's the best I can tell you. Like if you're a person who's able to either be working from home or collect some sort of unemployment / payment while you're being stuck during this quarantine time, you have nothing but time and no excuses. Just check out something you've never watched before. Like watch a few episodes of a show and see what it's like. Like my wife and I started watching October Faction recently, and that's interesting. Like
I started watching The League. And like,
oh, really?
Yeah,
that's kind of
that show is great.
That's kind of weird because I feel like there's got to be a bunch of references that are timely that don't make sense. The sports ones.
Well, no, the sports ones are kind of lost upon me, but like there are great moments in that show.
Yeah. So just check all of the streaming services, and a lot of them are very cheap. I mean, obviously, pay your bills, pay your rent, do what you can with the money you have. But if you do have the extra
if you're
money,
tight on money, like IMDb has a free streaming service. There's Tubi. There's free streaming services out there that you can use.
Yep. Voodoo, my wife and I have seen some stuff on before too. So
like the IMDb one I want to watch because it has Fringe and I've never seen it, and I kind of want.
The first season is the only one I've seen, and it was great.
Yeah, that show is phenomenal.
At least I hope they still have Fringe. I don't know.
I would say the first 3 seasons are some of the best television ever. Like period. I just don't remember 4 or 5 that well.
I feel like it's the best spiritual successor to X-Files.
Yes.
100%. I would say Supernatural is also a good successor, but I love both of them for many reasons.
With Fringe, if you are going to watch it though, don't step away from it for a long time, because my wife and I, when we were watching it, we were waiting for I think the 5th season to show up on Netflix or something. And there are elements from all of the other seasons that pop up throughout it. And if you've forgotten stuff, specifically the last episode, it's a little bit like, I know that's connected to something else, but I can't remember what. So
Well, hot take. It's the best thing that Jabrams and Orsi and Kurtzman have ever been associated with, even though it's just their names on it.
Didn't they all write? Didn't Orsi and Kurtzman write 2009 Star Trek?
Yeah, this is better. This is better than that. Admittedly, I am the wrong person to bring up that film towards, but and here's the thing: I actually like that movie. It's some other Trek stuff that I'm not a fan of, but that show is like, and also when you consider that there's a lot of stuff that they're connected to, and I'm leaving out the guy who did Watchmen and not Left Behind, but whatever
the
it's
Leftovers?
called. Leftovers.
Yeah,
I'm including him from this because he's proved himself to be a good writer and to have some confidence. But this is like something that was sold on Kurtzman and Orsi and J.J. Abrams, and it's far better than a lot of the other stuff that they made.
If I remember, I feel like it was completely sold as like, if you like the X-Files, you will fucking love this. Was basically how
you
they
like
sold the
Lost. It also Lost was all over the marketing show.
Yeah,
I guess I don't. I wasn't a Lost person.
I really wasn't either. I was just. I mean, this was that period where I would watch anything that had monsters, the paranormal, aliens. Like,
because if I remember correctly, the pilot episode is a bus full of people that are like frozen.
It's a plane.
Dead. Yeah, it's a plane. Yeah,
it's a plane.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it goes in so many interesting sci-fi directions. And the mythology is really smart. It's never like the twist is never anything you're like, what? Why is that the twist?
1 second, so I need to let Arlen know this. I just looked next to Fringe on IMDb TV. I think I just shared it in the chat. Guess what else they have the entire series of?
Oh, well, John, that's why it's on the shut-ins chat.
No, they have Columbo. They have...
Yeah, that's what that's why I put it there. Yeah, no, all of Columbo, all 13 seasons of Columbo are on IMDb TV, which you can watch on Amazon, by the way, if you have a Prime subscription. You can just watch it through there.
I just got really excited for you because I was like, "Hey, Columbo."
Oh, I've been rewatching them. I've been continuing my journey to watch all of it that I was cut off from Netflix. Netflix, you bastards. Now I will have my revenge.
Back to Fringe real quick. Yeah, if it's any idea of how much my wife and I loved it, we named our husky Astrid after one of the characters from Fringe.
Aww.
I didn't even catch that, but yeah, that's...
Yeah.
Astrid's such a good character. Such a good character.
Ostrich,
all the characters on that show. Like, even the Dawson's Creek guy, like
he's like, it's the best thing he's ever done.
Yeah,
Joshua
like
Jackson.
Really,
he's so good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and you because of Dawson's Creek, and you expect to, like, I don't know if I'm gonna like this because of him, but no, he works. Everybody works.
Well, he plays like plays a character that he can play. Like, they don't try to have him do too much. Like, he's not the FBI guy. He's like the dumb asshole son of the scientist guy who's goddamn John Noble.
Yeah.
I also remember loving Lance Reddick in this. Like,
oh yeah.
I feel like this is the first thing I saw him in.
He brings what he brings to The Wire or Bosch on Amazon coming soon.
Or Horizon Zero Dawn.
But he brings the same thing to those shows to Fringe, which is just like weight and seriousness that grounds everything in a really great way. And
I do remember this is the first thing I remember seeing the guy who ended up playing Zaz on Gotham in.
Oh, right.
Because he's that because that actor I think has alopecia or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm. Also, Richard Dragon is in the show.
Oh, yes, he is.
Yes, and I don't want to give anything away, but a lot of these, they get a lot to do, some of these actors. They get opportunities to do a lot of things. I'm trying really not to give anything away.
I didn't realize Jared Harris is in this. The guy who plays Moriarty in Sherlock Holmes.
Mm-hmm.
RoboCop is in it, in one of the best standalone episodes they've ever done.
Which RoboCop?
The original.
Peter Weller.
Well, and the other one is like Nimoy is in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Well, Nimoy is like the...
John hasn't seen it.
Yeah.
Well, no, he's like the Wozniak. Say that's all.
Yes.
He's like the... or.
No, I think it's the other way around. He's the Steve Jobs.
He's like a Steve Jobs type. And Denethor, son of Arathor, is...
oh, you mean Scarecrow?
Yes. He's so good. He's so good in this show. He plays an older man with sort of not dementia, but like brain problems. And it's so relatable. He's
but
fantastic.
as you find out about the things that Walter got up to, you understand why he's the way he is too. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
But that's a fucking phenomenal show. God, John, I'm jealous you get to watch it for the first time.
Yeah, I feel like I'm definitely going to start it sooner than later. So
you should.
Yeah. Don't look up anything past season 2.
I'm not.
Just don't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I guess that would bring us up to Lou's final choice.
I'm actually going to say something I did not put on the list.
Okay.
So an audiobook that I would say to go listen to because it was really fun was Neil Gaiman's Norse Mythology.
Oh, nice.
I've talked about a lot
about this.
Yeah, but he does he reads his own book. He does an intro to it, which is also he talks about how he got interested, which was reading old Thor books and Kirby stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really fun. And it's like, if you've either like those characters from the comics or if you played God of War, like there's it's like, oh, these are kind of the stories of characters I didn't know in God of War, the PS4 one. And I was like, oh, their stories are interesting. And it's a lot of stuff you've not heard of because it's his twist on the very, very little Norse mythology that exists. Because he basically breaks it down, it's like having only stories about Zeus and Hercules.
Right.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. I feel like Norse mythology is something that the stuff that's even well known isn't really well per se. Like people vaguely know about it, but I mean, like, you know, I know about like the story of Balder to an extent, but I'm sure there's a lot that I don't know about that story with Freya asking all of the things except for mistletoe not to hurt him and blah blah blah.
Yeah, and it goes into like the Azir and the Vanir, and how there's like there are actually two different sets of gods from two different people, and they kind of mix their mythology together.
Interesting.
Yeah, because Odin is the Asir, and then Freya is the Vanir.
Yes. Okay. I think that's correct.
Yeah, because they all have kids with other people. Like all of Freya's kids have different fathers. All of Odin's kids have different fathers or different wives. Loki has like 6 kids. He's the mom of one of them. He's the mom of Odin's horse.
Yeah, I remember you mentioning that. Yeah, the 6-legged horse. He's also the mother of the wolf that's supposed to end.
Yeah, he's the father. He has 3 kids with a giantess, and it's the world serpent, Jomungandr.
Yeah, I should know.
Fenrir Fenrir the wolf, and then I can't remember the other one. Hela are his 3 kids with her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kate Blanchett.
Yes.
Yes. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
No, it's Neil Gaiman. It can't be bad. Like it's
great
for him to do.
And I have a bunch of his other stuff like I've downloaded. One of them is like there's a BBC did an audio drama of Neverwhere with a voice cast.
Oh well, they did there was a live action adaptation of it that was really
great. Then maybe it's the voice cast of that because it's Cumberbatch.
No,
what's his name? That was Professor X.
Oh,
the younger one.
Yeah. I know
McAvoy. The guy that plays Martian Manhunter, isn't it? Supergirl.
Oh, interesting.
Oh.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to like look at it, but like without it playing through my phone.
This is definitely a much better cast than what was in the live action one, because the live action one was from like I want to say like the late 90s, early 2000s, and it was definitely a BBC television production. So it's painfully a BBC.
Yeah, this is a BBC
production.
Radio production.
Okay, well then it's probably a much higher quality. Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. There's 2 other big names, and I'm like can't think of their names right now. I have.
Go ahead.
Oh, Natalie Dormer and Christopher Lee.
Oh Jesus!
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. If you haven't, read American Gods as well, because that is an amazing book.
And watch the one season of the show that exists.
Yes, watch the singular season of that show. Watch Jesus Camp. Watch the
look who the showrunner was, and that should tell you season of it.
Yeah. I'd like him to do a show and not have just the first season be any good.
That's never gonna happen. So I mean, I guess we should wrap it up, unless anybody wants to just throw in some last minute suggestions without going into them.
No.
Okay. Nobody wants to do
more
that.
Options and no more bestiality or furry?
I guess I can add in like you should check out like My Giant and the Arab there.
Yeah. Damn it. Yeah. And I'll just say this. A lot of this stuff is gonna be in the notes. So just check out a lot of the stuff connected to these things that we're putting in our notes also. Like Velvet's gonna be in there. Just all the Brubaker stuff, really. But Velvet's the one that I've read the most of, and that
I had a Brubaker book in there too. I love his Iron Fist run.
Yeah, it's great. He's fantastic. He's so good. It's really good. A lot of the stuff, just like look at the other stuff that they've done and like check that out too. Because you'll have a good time. That I think.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if I have anything else. Definitely subscribe to Shudder though. I feel like that's just
I did it.
the tagline of this show.
It's something that because due to everything going on, definitely having to make some financial choices, I had to drop that. I know it's only like $6 a month, but I will admit it's totally worth the $6 a month. It's my wife and I used it quite a bit for a while.
Yeah, it's easier for me because I'm grandfathered in price, so like I can just go on and have Shudder forever, I guess. But yeah, like it's definitely worth it, especially with that 30-day deal that they have going on. Like, and if you keep it, think of it like this: if you watch a new horror movie a month that you haven't seen before, and it's worth it. If you watch a singular horror movie, and that's about my ratio.
They now have the option to pay for a whole year of it instead of doing month to month, which actually saves you like $12 or $20, somewhere in that range. So, money being tight for a lot of people. If you're willing to spend $60 to have a year of entertainment, go for it.
It's a good time to try out those free weeks or months, because I would actually say the DC one is like a great one to do a free trial because it has all those old cartoons, like every old cartoon you can
also has
I'm waiting for HBO Max. I'm not.
And
go watch Doom Patrol, you bastards.
Yeah,
I will when it's on HBO Max.
I also will when I get it for free in my library when that opens up.
I want to say if you have the means to, definitely get Game Pass. It's like the best thing.
Yes.
Well, and it's on sale all the time, so there's really no excuse not to get it.
And if you have Live, you can switch it to. You have one time where I think it's like
$1.
It's like $1 and it's 1-to-1, right?
Well, the way you can work it though is if you're somebody who pays for a year of Xbox Live ahead of time. If once again, based on your financial situation, if you're willing to get another year of Xbox Live just to have it on reserve, do your switch over then, because you will only be charged $1 for your pre-existing amount of Xbox Live that you have. So you only be paying $1 extra every month. So that was the mistake I made, because I had like a month left of my Xbox Live at that point. I'm like, oh yeah, I'll switch over. And then I'm like, oh fuck, I should have gamed the system. But Game Pass pays for itself every month.
And they're constantly adding new things, and like a lot. I hate to say it, a lot of launch titles are going to be on Game Pass. So
I'm waiting for Doom to pop up on there, which I feel like is an inevitability.
Is already on there.
So I just want to point out that Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, I'm not sure if it's monthly, but it's $1 monthly to join right now.
Yeah, it's $1 right now.
Yeah, that's
like last week or the week before, it was 50% off, which was still a great deal. And
if you have Game Pass, there is a PC thing you can get too. They're like in early stages, but there is still a bunch of stuff on there.
Oh yeah, Master Chief Collection, which is on the list. Also,
all the Borderlands games
through it.
Yes.
Oh, like all the Lego
Prime a month ago, which was fantastic.
Yeah, all the Lego games, all the Fable games, Witcher.
Witcher, Grand Theft Auto 5, which. Not to brag, but I bought those games, and a week later they were on Game Pass, so I feel real special.
I mean, I normally buy games, like, not all the time, but like if there's a big release that I'm interested in, I'll buy it. And now I'm kind of like, well, let's see if it comes out on Game Pass.
There's like at this point, there's like a 80% chance that it will be.
Yeah, especially if it's a Microsoft game.
Pretty much all their games like are on there. Because one of my favorite ones was one that immediately went on there, which was Outer Worlds.
Yeah,
it was real fun.
And I'm sure Psychonauts 2 will be on there.
Yes.
Hellblade's been on there for a long time.
And the new Ori game is on there, which is beautiful.
And Zero, which everyone should play.
For a while, all the Arkham games are on there. Now it's just Arkham Knight, but still, if you haven't played Arkham Knight, like. Go back and play.
I bought all the Arkham games like several times over, like a crazy person. So
and they have like other games. Like I'm looking, there's Jump Force, Mortal Kombat X, Gears.
Yeah, but there's a lot of stuff on there, and even if there's only one or two games that you're interested in, that's still saving you the cost of a subscription to it. So it's totally worth it.
That's like thousands of dollars you save. Also,
it's really saving you from going to GameStop and buying a used game.
But they are an essential business. Don't you take that money away from them?
An essential business.
I'd like to say thank you to the PA governor, Tom Wolf, for getting them to shut down because he removed their licenses indefinitely in PA because they were being such pricks about all of this. And that was the reason they shut down.
That is so
if you want to listen, me and Ryan went through a couple of stories when we were working at GameStop on the comic show this week.
Nice.
Oh my.
Where he had to walk in the snow because otherwise he would have gotten fired.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
What a great company. I'm glad they're going to die.
Yeah, it's almost like monopolies are a bad thing.
They were mostly a monopoly, not by like them doing anything good. It was more that they just sort of they outlasted their competition.
Yeah, it's true. It's almost like late stage capitalism is a bad thing based on everything going on right now. Yeah. Anyways,
it's almost like we should overthrow the systems of power that hold us down and
quickly turning into a bummer. Let's not.
Then I could just if you really want to get into it, you should go. I'm pretty sure it's on Game Pass. Go play. Oh my god, I just lost the name of the game. Never mind. No, the one where it's the disease is happening, and the first one's in New York, second one's in DC. Division. Yeah.
Not anymore.
They're not anymore.
No. Anyways, before we spiral off too far, being that it's 12:40 in the morning on the East Coast, I guess we should wrap this up. So I hope everyone has enjoyed our choices, be they long and rambling or succinct. And like Harlan said, all of the things that we had in the Word doc that we've been referencing will be on the notes for the episode. I've been Erik Fedorchak, who somehow got thrown into the hosting duties for the end of this. You can find me at Erik_Fedor on Instagram. There's pictures of dogs and cats, food and comics. I haven't put a whole lot up recently because I've been depressed. If you want to find anything fun to talk about, just come on over to the Phantom Zone. We're there. I mean, it's not super active all the time, but jump in. Maybe you can be that ignition that we need to get everybody going again. Also, don't watch anime. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. Other than Akira, don't watch anime.
Don't even watch that. Watch Evangelion. Watch Evangelion and then lose your fucking mind for an entire week. Question your own existence.
But Arlen, are you talking about the anime or the OVAs?
Watch the original dub though, because the new dub is not that great.
Or you just watch the original subtitle version. You can do that.
Watch Beastars.
Subs over dubs.
Don't do it.
Watch Beastars.
My plugs. So Eric Sayor already spoiled this kind of on a podcast that isn't out yet for Lost Hour Pod. So I'll just say this now. Because of all this outbreakness that's going on, we're covering the entire James Bond franchise, bitches. We're covering every single film and a couple of documentaries and side pieces. So
can I request to be on the
Connery movie?
Can I request to be on the one that has like the not Korean guy? Be the best.
You want to do Die Another?
Oh yeah, I feel like I have to be.
I feel like I can squeeze you in. I feel like we can make that happen. But yeah, the plan is to do it
after he stops being Korean.
You can be on the entire time. I don't mind. The plan is to do it all before No Time to Die comes out, hopefully. But it is coming out in November, which I prefer. And it gave us time to do this, to do a whole big rewatch. And yeah, we're doing it. Our Connery episode is going to be out sometime soon. So look forward to me and Erik Sayor and guests, if anybody wants to be on, talking about some James Bond. This will be interesting, talking about my favorite series for that many episodes. I'm very curious to see how it works out. So yeah, please come and join us for those episodes. Even if you haven't listened to our other episodes, I understand. I get it.
I hate you, so I get it.
I'm okay with it. But just come listen to those, because it's going to be interesting. I can already tell. I already got a... So, yeah.
Don't follow me on social media. Don't do it. Also, Shut-ins is coming back. I'm trying to convince one of my best friends in the entire world to play Duke Nukem Forever with me. It's not going well. It's not going really well. But yeah, look forward to that soon. Other than that, I got nothing.
All right. Oh,
go ahead.
I'll say Smallville Chronicles. We're in season 6. We got the comic show. John is on. You guys are always invited. Yep. And if you want to follow me, it's at young_Kami. Send me all your furry pictures, especially Leonardo. Talking to you. I want to see all your anime furry pictures. Send me all the grossest things you can.
I want all your Legosi fan art.
You don't know what type of door you're opening.
Send your awful, dirty, furry anime meets Moon Knight art to us.
If you wanted to have a gift party in New Hampshire, DM me.
Hunter's next profile picture will be like Sam Neill in Event Horizon at the very end. Where is it?
John, you want to get yours in?
Yeah, mine's gonna be a little bit ending on a serious note. You can follow me, James Scott 193, and I just want to point out to everyone: please stay safe.
Yes.
Please stay healthy. Mm-hmm. Only go out if you need to. Otherwise, please stay home. I know they've been saying flatten the curve, mm-hmm. left and right the last couple days. Please do it. We all want this to be done. We're all tired of it. I'm
already annoyed of hearing about it. So please.
Also, this is part of the public service announcement. Don't eat ass. Eat ass. Because apparently that can be a contributing factor.
That makes sense.
So avoid the rimming and the booty licking. Just for a little while, guys. Just for a little while. I know it's going to be hard on some of you, but I believe in you. I believe you can do it.
We all believe in you. But seriously, please stay safe. Please be healthy. Wash your hands.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
And be fucking nice to the people that do have to work during this.
Yes.
You don't.
Please, I would I'm one of those people. I would greatly appreciate it. I had one guy say to me today, "Appreciate you being here." I'm like, oh, I'm gonna start crying soon.
Yeah. Like if you're ordering food, which most people should be doing, if you're ordering food and it's takeout that you have to pick up, or even if the delivery person is doing a no contact drop off, like just write something nice in the notes for the people who are doing this, or just say thank you. I appreciate you being here.
Goes miles.
Because
and if you can do it without contaminating, leave a big tip. Leave a
Because
I've been just like touching everything and licking everything. High five, like putting my hands up to high five people.
You've been taking out $50 bills and just like
and
tussling people's hair.
The 3 last bits I wanted to add before we go. 2 of them are connected. 1, if you want to get tested for coronavirus, go cough on a rich man. 2 and 3. There is cosmic justice in the universe. Rand Paul has tested positive for coronavirus, and Harvey Weinstein did as well. Goodbye, everybody.
Yeah. Bye. Ghost. Bye.
Hunter confirmed furry today.
Go fuck yourself, Harvey Weinstein.